No way!
Look!
Shut it down!
Look! No!
Shut it down!
Two titles, both alike in their gameplay but that tell wildly different stories in the same setting. One a sprawling epic, and the other a deeply emotional tragedy. Today, Austin Hargrave, Gerard Khalil, Jared Knabenbauer, and Shane Gill join me, Forrest Lee, to decide which better stands the test of time. It's Ocarina of Time versus Majora's Mask, and this is madness. This is the big one. Zelda versus Zelda, but only one Zelda can leave.
Can we skip this one for now?
Yeah, can I call shenanigans on the random number generator?
Yeah, like what the heck?
Zelda
This is
Zelda?
the worst RNG we could have. Well, this
has been a tough bracket.
This bracket sucks.
You know what's fine. We just get this out of the way.
Yeah, you know it's gonna come. It's gonna happen eventually.
I guess it would have happened in the semis or the finals, but either way, I guess it's going to happen now.
Let's start off with how these two games handle the Zelda formula. So Ocarina of Time kind of made the Zelda formula, and Majora's Mask, it was the first game right after that. Turned it on its head and did something else. It did kind of like impose a time limit, and there was a bunch of weirdness around that game's like tonal structure. Every game has tried to be Ocarina since then, and Majora's Mask didn't. Yeah.
That's a good point.
How
A
do
lot
you
of
feel
games
about
try to
those
be
two games?
Ocarina, but no games have tried to be Majora's.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like time limits. A lot of them. Is it okay? Let's start off with that because that's the big thing. Do you guys like the time limit, or the 3-day time limit, or do you dislike it?
I don't mind it, to be honest. I never really thought it was a bad thing. It was just a thing.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I mean, part of what I like about the game.
From first digestion, it seems stressful, but then once you realize that you can bend almost ultimately anything, you realize that it's more of a strength than a weakness because it lets you do things differently the whole time.
It's really a 3-day time limit only in idea only because you can just reset it. And
because you know it's there, you can plan around it, so you know it's coming.
I never hated it. Yeah, like you said, the
like
fact that you can slow it down or speed it up does change a lot. Plus, with the different side quests, it literally allows me to plan those 3 days. Like, I am spending the 3 days on this one, and then I know that's how I'm going to spend those days. It allows me to kind of schedule it.
Yeah.
So I did not see it as a hindrance at all, especially from a technical standpoint, the fact that every NPC and side quest had specific times and where they
And that
paths and where they were through a Nintendo 64 game.
Yeah, and the time limit shapes some of the side quests.
Yeah.
So, like, that was something that when I was a kid, I loved about Majora's Mask. You know, it's always raining on the second day. So and so is always here.
Retread the same steps in a different way.
Yeah, and so you could go at a different point of the world and see something that would be there that day at that time, and then maybe not. The second or third day.
So I think I'm just gonna take a knife and stab it into this whole thing. It's gonna be rough for a lot of people. I personally thought that Ocarina of Time was overhyped when it came out. I think this way because I fell in love with Link to the Past, and I'm one of those Zelda guys who really like Link to the Past a lot. When I played Ocarina of Time, I felt like a lot of the same tropes and the way setups and everything the game was very similar to Link to the Past. And so I was like, oh, this is just a 3D version of A Link to the Past. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that immediately kind of soured the experience for me. So that when I got to play Majora's Mask, I was like, holy crap, this is way different. This is very anti what I know from what Zelda is.
I am right there with you, because even as a kid, first playing Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64, even I could tell that, this is just like Link to the Past with 3D. Dark World, Light World versus past and future, thematically very much the same, a lot of the items very much the same. Sure, it was 3D, it had a lot of cool new puzzle elements to it, much more fleshed out storyline and characters, but mechanically speaking, very much the same items, same bosses in some cases.
And as a kid learning how to play a 3D game, it was a little overwhelming. It was like, I remember not being great for the first several hours of Ocarina of Time. And I think that's because like there was a 3D space. There was like the Z targeting and the lock-on and Navi, whatever you want to call it. It brought so much confusion out the door, whereas I think the strength of Majora's Mask was we've already experienced.
Plus, Link to the Past straight up had the Ocarina in it.
To be fair to Ocarina of Time, they designed the early game in that title to like sort of teach you the 3D mechanics. The whole first dungeon, like there's the whole vertical aspect of it. You had to jump down the middle to break the spider web.
I remember the first time I did that, it was like, holy cow, that's like you just open up this whole new area. Like you're like, okay, this is like a
not disagreeing with you, just saying
not
that
saying
early
one way
game.
Right, and my statement was just kind of show like that's where I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the argument still is, which is the better Nintendo 64 game?
Well, Ocarina of Time's longer.
Not necessarily what's the better Zelda game, but what's the better Nintendo 64 game?
I feel like they're very, very similar in quality and style. Like people say Majora's Mask more melancholy, but Ocarina of Time, Ganon, like, enslaves everyone.
Yeah, I think
he kills all the people in
Actually,
freaking Hyrule Castle Town.
Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room and every sub 10,000 subscriber YouTube like video essay about the tone of these games.
It's dark.
So, Wind Waker is not dark at all. That game is amazing.
They advertised it in some of the commercials as this really dark game, but it wasn't at all.
I mean, that was a period of time where people were all about gritty, dark, and serious. And like that was something that plagued gaming, really.
I think that in particular comes from a place where people aren't very good at articulating their thoughts and feelings about a game, so they'll just say, "Oh, it's dark, so it's good." But there could be another game that was dark that they disliked, and it's like you clearly don't like it because it's dark.
I think maybe a better word to describe Majora's Mask is melancholic.
Yeah,
because it's not.
It's emotional.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. I wasn't even bringing that up as like a negative towards Majora's Mask. It really set it apart from the rest of the franchise.
Ocarina of Time did have those depressing things like you were saying, but it's more hidden in the background. Like I think when I was a kid and I played through, I was like, oh well, Castletown's destroyed. It seems sad. There's these dead things, but I'm like, later I'm like, wait.
You can straight up find a dead guy.
Yeah, that's the soldier that's dead. Yeah.
I think there's something to say too about the threat of both games, right? Like obviously, Ocarina of Time, we have Ganon, and we go into the future to see what he's done, and it's up to us to change the situation. Whereas in Majora's Mask, you're a young kid who is pretty seasoned at this point because he's seen the future and whatnot. But what he didn't see was a big ass moon that's about to crash into the floor and has a very ugly ass face, and there's a Majora's Mask Skull Kid on top dancing with going crazy like, we're all gonna die in here, and you're just like, oh my god, the stakes visually and presence wise I feel are very different.
I really like how in that game the moon is so prevalent and obvious, and it's so clear that it's so low and it's coming lower over time, and I love seeing the denial and the characters. I like seeing how the different characters, and this is one of the things I like about Majora's Mask, is that I like all the different characters and how even side characters have like a developed like character arc to an extent. Like the freaking guy that is the sword master, and he's all like, I'm not scared, la la la, and then the last day, the final day with that sad, that freaky music playing, and he's just cowering, and then like you should be like, oh, look at this guy, like, he was playing.
It's relatable.
Yeah, it is, but then it's like, it's pretty scary. You can't really blame him. Like, that's when it gets depressing.
When it comes to the side characters and side quests, Majora's Mask is just
absolutely
so much better. Like the cafe quest with the Keaton mask is like one of the best things in the entire game.
Yeah, and you get like 3 or 4 masks on that.
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't end until like the last few minutes before the moon crashes or whatever is so freaking intense and beautiful. Like, just beautiful.
I do like that they were more bold with it, with the sad, depressing things that were happening, and like, because Ocarina of Time, like I said, they had that stuff. They had that soldier that's dead.
Yeah.
But the freaking town theme is still playing in the background, and he's just dead. And I'm like, I guess it's not that big of a deal. Let's just keep going. I just like the music better in Majora's Mask to begin with, for the most part. I mean, some of the songs are the same, but
it's Song of Healing, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like originated in those games, and they're iconic. Yeah.
Okay, but still. Which one is a better Nintendo 64 game?
Well, okay, so to compare these games, right, is obviously the big debate online. Everyone's been talking about it for years.
Yeah. When did Majora come out?
We're
talking about it that long.
Yeah. So I think to Jared's point, I think in order to discuss Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, we kind of have to draw the line between the two of what this one did versus what that one did.
The way these two games handled like their different links, I've always found super interesting, because you have the time jump in Ocarina of Time, right? Where you grow older and you can't use a lot of the same items between those two links, so it feels like a different setup.
Yeah.
Almost. That being said, Majora's Mask has the different mask links, right? But you can use them kind of anytime after you get them, so it's more just like you have a different set. You just have items. How do we feel about that?
Well, I guess there's two different styles of playing. Ocarina of Time is restrictive in the sense that you can only be adult Link at certain times and young Link at certain times. But I think each game plays to those strengths. Like, Majora's Mask is designed in a way where you can switch characters on the fly and it works for that game. And Ocarina of Time is designed in a way that's more restrictive and it works for that game.
I feel like we're all teetering the edge here, so I'm just gonna go in and put all my chips on the table.
Do it.
All right, so I think Majora's Mask is a better Zelda game than Ocarina of Time. It's far more original, had unique mechanics, it didn't feel like a rehash to Link to the Past like we were talking about earlier, and there's so much more going on in that game that I just love more. That said, Ocarina of Time is the better Nintendo 64 game.
Explain
Someone
yourself.
who's never played Zelda before, never even touched the game, know nothing about the series. What do you want to start them off with? Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask? What will be easier for them to get up, comprehend, understand the legacy of the series, and what's easier for them to play and get into? Even from a technical standpoint, Majora's Mask, you need to have the RAM expansion pack to even play the damn thing.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
for me, I would say play Ocarina of Time first, because after you play Majora's Mask, you won't really want to go back and play Ocarina of Time. I'm mostly kidding.
I feel like that's objectively untrue.
I'm kidding.
Have you never gone back and played Ocarina of Time?
Never again. Actually, no, I beat Majora's Mask as a kid before I beat Ocarina of Time. Which, could easily play into why I like it more, but my bias.
I'm talking just ease of entry for anyone to just pick up and play and be able to enjoy it. Like Shane kind of said, like the restrictiveness, almost linearity of Ocarina of Time kind of does play in its own strength, whereas Majora's Mask has like a little more freeform, explore around, and that's what makes it so fun. But when people argue about what's always like the best game of all time, it's always between like Final Fantasy VII versus Ocarina of Time, not Final Fantasy VII and Majora's Mask. It's a better Nintendo 64 game. I think Ocarina of Time does more with less. I don't know if I agree with what I just said there.
I think it is more simple in a lot of ways, and I think that is a strength.
Yeah.
Like, the story as well. It's a classic, fantasy story about a villain taking over the world.
It is the hero's journey, right? The classic.
And even though the stakes might be higher immediately, Majora's Mask, I still think Ocarina of Time's story feels more epic.
Interesting, yeah. Like there's more an actual journey there.
Yeah. Future Zelda games call back to Ocarina of Time, and they basically never call back to Majora's Mask. The timeline's weird.
It basically took until Breath of the Wild for Zelda to try to stop trying to be Ocarina of Time again, right?
But to that point though, I think a lot of why that was so heavily influenced by future Zeldas after Ocarina of Time was because of what everyone experienced at Ocarina of Time, right? Like, from then on, it's like Wind Waker, great, but it's not Ocarina of Time. Twilight Princess, great, it's not Ocarina of Time.
There's a big argument for which one is more important, and Ocarina of Time is just more important.
We're gonna have to decide soon, guys.
Well, there was a couple things I wanted to get into.
I got more to say.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You should throw them all on the table.
Well, okay, before I get into... First, secondly, after we... Okay. Slow down! Slow down! One thing I did want to mention, because I don't have anywhere to go with this, is I do like...
He's being honest.
I'm being...
Let the man speak.
Let me speak.
Let the man speak.
He is the Zelda expert out of the
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Let him speak.
I'm not an expert. I do like how, Ocarina of Time, it's literally called Ocarina of Time. But Majora's Mask, the ocarina and the songs are much more important, and you can do so many more things with them. And I don't really have, like I said, I don't have anywhere to go with that. I just like that about, about Majora's Mask.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, because in Ocarina of Time, some of the songs do stuff. You warp to different places and stuff, but they don't really do a whole lot. Or you just play, a song to open a door or something like that.
Let's bring up drawbacks of Majora's Mask, because we've talked about some of the drawbacks of Ocarina of Time. However, Majora's Mask, tons of side quests, cool characters, what we talked about. But man, what a pain in the ass doing them all and trying to get every damn heart piece.
Well,
There's only 3 dungeons.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually was my other point.
Like it's like
There's 4.
It's like arguably like
only for Breath of the Wild.
And they're
it's
not
also-
that good, but that's
Majora's
for a
Mask
different
is
day.
also oddly like
Well,
a smaller game
one-
than Ocarina.
One thing that I definitely will say is, I think there's an argument that the Ocarina of Time has better dungeons than Majora's Mask. I mean, debate.
Better in what way? Are we talking like design and memorability?
more fleshed out,
Like
and
when
more
I think
memorable.
about Ocarina of Time, I think about going through dungeons. When I think about Majora's Mask, I don't think about the dungeons. I think about the side quests and the characters.
Yeah, same. And part of it may just be because in Ocarina of Time, it's like fire, water, shadow. You know, see, it's more like based on Elsa. It's more memorable in that sense. Yeah, it's more memorable in that sense.
They're more
To be
distinct
fair
from each
to
other,
Majora's
yeah.
Mask
Yeah.
on that, we also should keep in mind they only had like what, a year to make that game.
Yeah. Again, I do think that's worth bringing
That
up.
was
But
the
it
original
doesn't.
plan. Then it took them 3.
Did it take him 3?
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did I? Oh, I said earlier it came out
I
a year
didn't
after.
know
So,
that.
see, you call me the Zelda expert. That's what I'm saying. I'm
I
not.
think it was like 18 months or something.
All
I
right.
don't remember.
We're gonna
Either
have
way,
to decide, guys.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Final points.
Final points for me is still just if you were to sit someone down with an N64 who's never played an N64 game, has never played a Zelda game, just to introduce them to the series, Ocarina works off better and is more just easy to play as a Nintendo 64 game. Even though I still think Majora's Mask is a better Zelda game, I think Ocarina is a better Nintendo 64 game.
So what's your
So
vote for?
my vote in that will still be Ocarina of Time. Even though I like Majora's better.
Anyone else prepared to vote?
Don't be.
Okay.
I think the reason we're so hesitant is because we care so much about these 2 titles.
I think that there's arguments to be made that there's a lot of things in Ocarina of Time that are done better. I just really, really like Majora's Mask. So, and it's so dark.
That's a fine argument. That's a fine argument.
I am gonna go with Majora's Mask. And I think it is partially just because I really like the side quests in Majora's Mask. I love how there's a time limit. I also love how it's emotional and it really gets to you. How you change certain things and you help these people, and then you have to go back in time, and then while you're doing this other stuff, these people you just helped.
They're strangers again.
Yeah, they're strangers again. They don't even know you. And I don't know. I mean, I'm getting into the kind of like, well, it's just sad and it's depressing. But I mean, I like it's more memorable to me. I like that the whole world is in Ocarina of Time. It's a big open field. There's not a whole lot of stuff that's memorable about it. Like there's the towns. Just give me Majora's Mask, okay?
So you're voting Majora?
Gerard.
Yeah, I'm going Majora.
I think at the end of the day, I think the superior game is Majora's Mask. I think that the stakes are there, and that's my interest. And while I appreciate and applaud Ocarina of Time for making me feel ready to play Majora's Mask, I think Majora's Mask takes what Ocarina of Time did and it takes it to 11.
Just makes it more unique.
Shane?
I think these 2 games, even though they're similar, they have different strengths. I think Majora's Mask has better details, fine details. Ocarina of Time has a better overall story and feel. And for that, I'm going to say Ocarina of Time.
Ooh.
I'm about to walk out of here.
That's why I don't want to vote anymore. Everything I vote for loses.
I'm with you, Gerard.
No, it's up to Lee now.
This is tough.
This is the one you didn't want, right?
Yeah, this is the tiebreaker I didn't want to have. I wanted my vote to not matter on this one. But based on the arguments, I'm going to have to give it to Ocarina of Time.
What the? No way!
Look!
Shut it down!
Look, no.
Shut it down! This whole thing, this whole bracket's invalid now.
No, Majora's Mask is the better Zelda game. But
What does that mean?
But what's a better Nintendo 64 game? Ocarina.
I still haven't decided determined what you mean by that. What's the better Zelda game versus what's the better?
It's the most Zelda-like Zelda game.
Yes.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I love how Gerard's sad. I'm mad. Like this is this debate. I can't believe you.
Look, no, I agree with you and everything. I love Majora's Mask far more. Yeah. Ocarina of
Then
Time
vote
is
for
more
it.
important.
All people need to do now is watch the first minute and see what Gerard likes, and then...
This one sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, these two are such good games just as a whole, and they have such different tones. I think this is probably one of the easiest comparisons we're going to get out of this bracket.
I'm interested to see the poll results on this one.
I'm interested to see Majora's Mask come back from the losers bracket and name
It's-
it everyone.
Don't
It's
even-
coming back.
yeah.
This ain't over. This pony
this-
is just getting started.
This one definitely has some of the best chances, I think, in the losers bracket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I don't feel good about it, but Ocarina.
I'm ready to devil's
Like, it's-
advocate. I'm ready to devil's advocate for
if
every
it
single game
comes
that's going
down-
against Ocarina of
if it
Time.
com-
Which Zelda game do you think should have made it to the next round? Please let us know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, give it a like. And if you want more madness, subscribe because we have new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.